What's up guys, it's Weston here. So today I've got some really exciting news and leaks and stuff from the upcoming Ryzen 5 CPUs. Now I've had to make some notes because there is a lot of information here that I've found. Now again, I don't know whether this is 100% accurate because none of it's been confirmed by AMD as of yet, but it's still pretty cool to see some information about what we could come to expect from Ryzen 5. So anyway, I'm just going to dive into it now and just read through my notes about what I found. Now the first one is the Ryzen 5 1600X. Now this is a sort of competitor price wise for the i7 7700, so it'll be around $259, which is pretty similar to the 7700. Now the 1600X has 6 cores with 12 threads, which is impressive and should be good for those multi-threaded tasks like video editing and rendering. It's also got 20 MB of cache, a 3.6 GHz base clock, and it will boost to 4, but obviously you will be able to get past that with overclocking on a good I/O cooler. It's got a 95 watt TDP, which is about the same I believe as the 7700K, which is pretty impressive, and this is slated for a Q2 launch. So next up we've got the lesser model, which is the 1500X. Again, this is a 6 core 12 thread CPU, but it does have less cache. Now I found 2 different sources with 2 different information on the level of cache. One says 16 meg and one says 12. Don't know which one is true. I'm going more towards 16 actually, but we'll have to wait and see when AMD does fully announce these. Now this has got a base clock of 3.5 GHz and it will turbo to 3.7. Again, you could probably extend that with overclocking. 65 watt TDP is pretty impressive, and you're not going to need a massive power supply to power all your system because it's more efficient, which is pretty good. Now this again slated for Q2 with a price tag of $229. What it says, don't know whether it's true as of yet though. Next one is the 1400X. Now this is the first in the 4 core lineup, and this has got 8 threads, 8 meg of cache, and this puts it in line with the i5 7600 because both are 4 core, both are 8 thread, so that should be pretty interesting to see how they perform side by side. Now this has got a 3.5 GHz base with a 3.9 GHz boost, but again you can probably take it beyond that with overclocking, a 65 watt TDP, Q2 again, and a price tag of $199, which is pretty impressive. And finally the baby of the range, which is the 1300, and this puts it in line with the 7400, which is around $175. This is 4 core 8 thread like the 1400X, 65 watt TDP again, but this has got a base clock of 3.2 GHz with a boost of 3.5, and it'll be priced, like I said, around $175. Now we've got some really cool information that I found with some leaked benchmarks. Again, don't know whether these are 100% accurate, but anyway, this is some stuff I found. So first up, we've got some Cinebench data, and the 1600X, which is the only one I could find at the minute, but I will update the description if I do find any more. That scored 1136 points, which is pretty amazing actually. Compare that to the 7700K that only scored 995, and you can see that possibly these are going to be better for tasks like video editing and rendering in comparison to what Intel's offering, which is exciting for all those video creators out there. Then even with the i7 overclocked to 5 GHz, the standard 1600X is still beating it out by a good 100, well almost 100 points, which is really impressive. So next up we've got some 3D Mark scores, again for the 1600X and actually for the 1300 too. So it scored 15,271 and the 1300 scored 10,177. Both are really impressive scores. Now it didn't say what else was in the system, so I don't know whether it's got 32 gig RAM, 16 gig, what graphics card or anything, but I'm still pretty impressed with what it scored. And then finally we've got one from CPU. Again, this is the 1600X, the only one I can find at the minute, but it scored 12,544 in the multi and 1888 on the single. Now if I do find some similar data for the Skylake and Kaby Lake, I will put them in the description as well, so you can do a little bit of a comparison to see which one is better. But anyway, that is pretty much all the information I've found, and I'm really excited about Ryzen 5. Now Ryzen 7 has been good and it's been going toe to toe with Intel on the higher end stuff, But now this is the more consumer grade gaming and video editing stuff. So yeah, I am definitely excited to see what this brings to the table, especially for us content creators with those 6 cores, 12 threads. It's going to make video editing and rendering much better than what Intel is offering at the same price. Anyway, really excited about Ryzen 5. I hope it does deliver. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this one. So all the links for all the information I found will be in the description. So you can go ahead and do some reading around the subject if you want to. So that is pretty much it, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this weekly. I've got some more awesome PC stuff, a lot of other stuff, loads of reviews and everything coming on the channel very soon. So thanks again, and I will see you all on the very next one.